Hello everybody, it's time for another take of Bake's Take. Last week I was 2-4 in my picks. It could have easily been 4-2. You had the Stanford close loss to Washington State and then the close loss to Penn State from Iowa. But the 5 games plus Notre Dame game this week is Georgia at Kentucky, West Virginia at Texas, Penn State at Michigan, Alabama at LSU, Texas A&M at Auburn, and of course Notre Dame at Northwestern. The college football playoff rankings, I thought the SEC was ranked a little high all through the board. I agree with Alabama and LSU being up at the top, and Georgia as well inside the top 10, but Kentucky, I thought, was given a very high ranking for what they've done to date. Their offense can't put up points on the board. And then Mississippi State, I don't think deserves to be ranked. But everything will kind of shake itself out by the end of the season. There's still some pretty good games left on the slate for the season, and should shape up to be pretty good. But we'll start with Georgia at Kentucky. I think Georgia wins this handily. Kentucky just has been struggling to score points, and Georgia I don't think has a problem scoring against Kentucky. I think Georgia wins this game by about 20 points and sends Kentucky considerably down in the rankings. West Virginia, I think West Virginia's offense is very high-powered, which Texas can have a high-powered offense. But I think West Virginia gets a couple more key stops than Texas. I just think Texas defense is very porous, and I look for West Virginia to win on the road at Texas. Penn State at Michigan. Penn State has 2 losses to Ohio State and Michigan State, but those were both at home, which is a little concerning. And then they travel to the Big House, and I think Michigan's just going to be a little more prepared. Michigan's defense is great, so it'll limit Penn State's opportunities. But Michigan's offense does struggle, but Penn State's defense has some good players on it, but they haven't really completely gelled as a unit. So I'm going Michigan at home this week. Alabama at LSU. This is definitely Alabama's biggest game to date. They had the win over Texas A&M this season, but I think Texas A&M is still a couple years away from being a true contender. Jimbo has the program in the right direction, but they just don't have the recruiting classes yet. So I think LSU holds tough at home, but I think Alabama's defense will get a couple key stops, and their offense is the best in the nation currently, and I think LSU pulls this game out. The one thing to look at from this game is how big of a win it is, like how many points, how the point spread is, and how that finishes up to see exactly where Alabama's at, because I don't think anyone has a true feel for where Alabama's at until this game's played. But Alabama at LSU, I pick Alabama. Texas A&M at Auburn. Auburn's down this year. They're 5-3. Texas A&M's also 5-3, but they're sitting at 20th right now. Texas A&M, I just think, has a better team, simply. Like I said, Auburn struggled this year. They've struggled against a couple lower-named teams as well. I just think Texas A&M travels and gets the win at Auburn this week, and that'll be a big win for them. And then, of course, Notre Dame at Northwestern. This game should be a pretty good game as well. Northwestern coming off the big win against Wisconsin. That's a big win for their program to keep sitting at the top of the Big Ten in their division. Notre Dame coming off a 22-point victory against Navy. I just think Notre Dame has too much offense for Northwestern in this one. So second half starts to go in Notre Dame's favor, and I think Notre Dame gets a pretty good win at Northwestern this week. And might be, I'm going to say, 10 to 14 point victory for Notre Dame in this one. So that's Big Take for Week 10 in the 2018 college football season. I have Georgia winning over Kentucky, West Virginia winning over Texas, Alabama winning over LSU, Michigan winning over Penn State, Texas A&M winning over Auburn, and Notre Dame winning at Northwestern. So that's Big Take Week 10. Thank you guys. Subscribe.